Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. Free thinking, innovative, progressive media. I'd like to talk to you about the inevitable. What will happen? What is happening? But I never thought would happen. Censorship. Mandates. Forcing, conniving, crony capitalism. Leads us all to one path, guys.
Jared Flores, what's up, Brogatti?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? What's going on?
Not much. Just wanted to, it's been a while, so I came on here to do a talk, to do a broadcast.
Is this your topic? Is this your topic?
Yeah.
Did you pick it or did they pick it? Just wondering.
No, I picked it.
So why did you pick it?
Well, I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. I've been kind of keeping quiet and kind of pour out some questions. Not theories, questions.
About the murder? About the murder?
Yeah, the whole entire barrel of this case.
Okay.
And
I don't know anything about, honestly, the facts, so you're gonna have to brush me up on that.
Okay.
Just the media attention.
Well, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, they were YouTubers that were doing a video on van life, as you will see on YouTube and stuff like that, which is really cool because I've seen them over the last couple of years. Great videos, really awesome. But Gabby Petito was found dead, and her fiance took off. Now it all started where they were stopped by the Utah State Police. Now, there's an audio that was leaked earlier today or earlier yesterday, and it was covered up by the Utah State Police. Witnesses saw the guy, Brian Laundrie, beating Gabby Petito.
Beating her why?
And
who are the witnesses?
People who were there, and it was dispatch got a call that they said this guy beating a woman, and the state police went in to arrest her and put him up in a motel so he could shower. Like, dude, investigate. Don't, do something to, and the media has really dropped the ball on this one.
I mean, I'm still not sure. Like, so what are the Utah police like? 'Cause she's dead and he's on the run, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. She's dead.
He wasn't arrested, and he must have killed her. Why did he kill her? What's the motive?
Yeah, people want to know that too. I mean, she was found dead. The coroner said her death is a homicide. He took off, and it looks guilty.
Would. I mean, you would. Honestly, wouldn't you take off if someone ruled your girlfriend's death a homicide and you were the only one that was with her, though? Wouldn't you run off?
Yeah, they would point me as not a person of interest, but a suspect.
I mean, you'd be the only suspect because you're the only one there.
Yeah, and
that sucks.
What doesn't really add up is that why is Dog the Bounty Hunter putting his nose in this shit? Okay. He went to their house, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Who's he?
Dwayne the Dog Chapman.
I don't know him. But okay, so he went to this. I guess he's another YouTuber. Okay.
No, he's a Bales bounty hunter guy.
Does he have a bounty? Does he have a bounty on the dude that ran, or what?
No.
Okay.
The guy's parents lawyered up. Okay.
Then why did he
feds read it?
This doesn't make sense.
Well, it does not make that. I agree. It don't make any sense. If your fiance is found dead and the coroner states it's homicide and you run, you will look guilty in the court of public opinion.
I mean, in the court of public opinion, everybody's guilty. Have you seen that tape? Have you seen that tape where Trump was peed on by Russian hookers? It doesn't exist. The Democrats lied. But everybody will believe it anyway. In the court of public opinion, everybody's guilty.
Yeah.
So, it seems like some mundane. It seems like some mundane stuff. I mean, people be killing their girlfriends all the time. I don't understand, like, what the deal is with this. Except they're YouTubers.
You have these YouTubers who think that, oh, we're going to be internet sleuths and we may have a chance to solve the crime. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're a YouTuber who thinks you can solve a puzzle, dude, that is really way out of your range, way out of your league. If you want to solve a puzzle, play Yahtzee.
What puzzle?
Yeah, Yahtzee, whatever it is.
What puzzle? What are they trying to solve?
It's a. Where's the guy at? How did she die? How was she murdered? How is it a homicide?
I thought you were talking about like the puzzle they were trying to solve, which got them in continuation with the Utah police, in which you said that there was some kind of hairy encounter going on. I'm talking about the puzzle. There was alive. What were they trying to do there? Because they were honestly on a mission.
Well, there's a YouTuber that did find the van. She owned a Ford Transit, one of those small Ford Transits, you know. Okay. And it was ticketed by Parksers and shit. And
so why are you interested in this case? Because honestly, I'm not. So why are you interested in this case?
It's kind of. I mean, it's not interesting in it. I'm just like questioning on why did this guy run when
because he's guilty.
He could just turn when he should turn himself in. He has a arrest warrant on his ass by the FBI.
Well, that's why he ran right there. Boom. You answered your question. That's why he ran right there.
But still, he should turn himself in. I mean,
you're going to turn yourself into if the FBI's already had you. I mean, you've had bad experiences with arrests. Let's put it that way. The FBI is they're not a playful fucking agency.
No, but still, I would rather turn myself in than being found. Because if I'm found,
then what?
They're not going to be very. I mean, look, I'll be honest. If I was in that guy's shoes and I had an arrest warrant on my ass, and the coroner says my fiance's death was a homicide, holy shit, what do you do then? Honestly, turn myself in because they want answers. They want me to answer questions on why did I run? What happened to my fiance? All these questions.
The FBI is interesting because they could either want answers or they could want to frame you for something that they've done a long time ago and she was just in the way. So now they have to fucking literally go out of their way to frame you for something that they did, because that's what the FBI does. They find people that weren't even involved in the story and then they take them like who's that guy that they say killed Kennedy? Even though everyone knows the FBI killed Kennedy. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
They were just got done with the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Kennedy said, get the fuck out of Cuba. Stop trying to assassinate Fidel Castro. They killed him. Then they blamed it on this one white guy with the fucking rifle. Absolutely hilarious. These guys are instigators.
What was funny? The first Black Ops game, your job is to kill Castro. And he said, they've been trying to kill me for years. Yeah. And yet they still couldn't kill me in a video game. Like, what the fuck? And he was laughing at him. And he was laughing at him.
I mean, they're so dumb. They really are. The only thing dumber is the fact that we haven't dissolved them a long time ago because they're literally doing nefarious shit every day. Our own Secretary of State's afraid of those guys. But with this story, though, like the main thing that really gets me is the media attention. You have this conflict of like, oh, it's white. What do they call it? White woman missing syndrome or whatever like that.
Yeah.
You have like, and they made it all racial. They made it all divisive. They made it all like, oh, this is edgy because, in reality though, bro, everybody be killing their girlfriends all the time. Why this story?
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to talk to you. Because the media is up to something.
It's not just that. You have missing women of color, also women that are indigenous people that have been missing. And how come the media are reporting on that? Or how come nobody's looking for it?
Everyone knows it. Because everybody knows it. The media sucks. They're racist. This is an old story. Why now? Why do we need to know this now? We all know that the media is a bunch of racist, low-life scumbag liars who lied us into war, who lied us into Iraq, Afghanistan. They lied us all the way up to fucking Patriot Act is still in effect. They lied us all up. They lied about the COVID shit. They lied all the time. So why do we believe them and the FBI? I don't know. But they're up to something because apparently this mundane, routine story, this YouTuber is killing a girlfriend. All of a sudden, it's white women missing syndrome. Something's happening, bro. Something that we're not looking at.
Indie left, news and politics and all the rest. So much to do on the YouTube, so they curate a list for you. IndieLeft.news.
Expert and says, trust the experts because the experts agree. And then when his friend comes in and says, I'm an expert and I've read the data and come to a slightly different opinion, the one expert starts beating the crap out of the expert who disagrees. Because that's basically what happens. We have all these people in the mainstream media saying, science is settled and the experts agree, even though the science changes often because that's what makes science science. And they say the experts agree, but there are plenty of doctors who do not agree. Certainly, I think there's a lot of crackpots, and I don't trust Dr. Fauci because he's flip-flopped back and forth. So who do you trust? Well, I always say this. Make sure you find an individual medical professional that you trust. And I think that's completely reasonable. If you've got an issue with politics, you don't trust someone, find a better doctor. But what we're getting now is a one-way street. You can go on social media and basically say anything so long as it fits the narrative. But if you question the narrative experts, you're banned. YouTube bans all anti-vaccine content, not just COVID-19 related. The New York Post reports, YouTube is banning several prominent anti-vaxxers from its site, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and will delete all content that suggests approved vaccines are harmful or don't work, the company said Wednesday. The online video platform, which is owned by Google, said in a blog post it is cracking down on content that falsely claims vaccines can cause chronic health effects. It is also targeting content that includes misinformation in the contents of approved vaccines. The new ban applies to all vaccines, not just COVID-19. This is how you enact despotism. There are a lot of people who are anti-vax, and they believe a lot of things about vaccines that are not true. There are a lot of people who might exaggerate certain things about vaccines and create a false understanding or misinterpretation of it. You see, this is the game. I had Jack Murphy on the Timcast IRL podcast a couple weeks ago. He's back tonight. This should be fun. We got Seamus Coughlin in town as well. It's going to be the Illinois boys. Make sure you go check out Timcast IRL on YouTube and podcasts and whatever. And we had him on. He was talking about his son wanting to play sports. His son, in order to play sports, would have to get vaccinated. Jack does not believe the vaccine will hurt his son. His son will be fine. He just doesn't know if it's necessary. And the state is effectively mandating it, forcing him to go through it. It's a very difficult position to be in because you want your kid to thrive and to chase his passions. And the state is basically saying, oh, yeah, we got to do this thing. Here's the game. Okay, YouTube. I have a lot of people who are like, Tim, why are you a shill for vaccines? Guys, vaccines are awesome. Now, you want to talk about long-term health effects on mRNA stuff? Okay, we can have a conversation about that because that's currently in the process. The studies are currently undergoing. Though the FDA has approved the community vaccine, which is, as they say, interchangeable with the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. Talking about any medical issue in general, saying that you are not allowed to have opinions opposing this is the slippery slope. Am I supposed to come out and be like, this is a good thing because they're wrong? No. I do think they're wrong, by the way. I actually did an interview with people at the CDC. I've investigated this. And I think what you typically hear is, yes, we know there are adverse events. We have VAERS specifically because of this. Some people have severe adverse events. You got to talk to a medical professional you trust. And the hope is a bit utilitarian in that sense that more people will benefit from the vaccine than will be harmed by it. And the harm really is minuscule. You know, people like to go to the vaccine adverse event reporting system and they pull examples saying, see, this proves it. And I'm like, guys, there are a lot of reports going into VAERS. I understand that, but we also have a mass nationwide vaccination event. My issue is with the authoritarianism. They will approach a normal, regular run-of-the-mill person and say, here's the data on vaccines. And when I look at it, I'm like, that's actually great, rather promising. Now, as to whether someone wants to get it is between them and their doctor and their health issues and their religious beliefs and not me or the state or, even a private, within reason, especially considering we would need to have a legislative process and public debate and long-term studies. But that's not for me to say. Right? What you choose to do with your body. We have people on the show all the time who are vaccinated. Our guests the other night were talking about how they got vaccinated. And I'm like, that's great. You do your thing, right? We're about freedom and individualism. The problem here is it's an exploit. When you go to a regular person who will be like, yeah, vaccines are cool. Then they say, see, shouldn't we have the ability to ban anyone who dare oppose our narrative? That's the problem. We're supposed to have free and open discourse. But when it comes to political issues surrounding the approved narrative, it is being destroyed. We're going to go back in time, my friends. This is what one thing I've been warning about since the dawn of the censorship debate.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics.
We're saying to the president and everybody else, you got to stop this madness.
Hi guys, this is Tommy Nation Politics. How are you doing today? Today we're going to talk about three things: fallacies, hard truths, and lessons. Researchers from Harvard, Cornell, and dozens of other universities around the world are conducting an ongoing analysis to compare 18 nations' responses to the COVID-19 pandemic to determine what worked, what fell short, and why. In their interim report, the scholars have identified 5 fallacies, guys. including the notion that politics takes a backseat to policy in a crisis.
On this vote,
Amid COVID-19,
the yeas are
it didn't.
220 and the nays
Report
are 211,
includes 5 hard truths.
with 0
Five.
answering present. The
The
bill is
resilience of
passed.
having a detailed response playbook researchers from could have been critical. Now, dozens of other universities around the world conducting an ongoing analysis to compare 18 nations' responses to the COVID-19 pandemic to determine what worked, what fell short, and why. In their interim report, scholars have identified 5 fallacies, including the notion that politics takes a backseat to policy in a crisis. Amid COVID-19, it didn't. And the report concludes with 5 hard truths. 5. The resilience of having a detailed response playbook could have been critical.
They write the story, tell the story. Take us back to slavery days and worse than that. And the children,
If not for the politics that was being played with Barack Obama v. Trump, v. Ebola v. COVID-19, the studies of Kennedy School, Harvard Science School, and the Science and Technology Center, based in the Kennedy School, focused on the role of science and technology in the law, politics, and policy of modern democracies. A Harvard postdoctoral fellow in program, Anur Azgud, is one of the 5 co-authors. Janisoff, Hilgartner, both scientists at the Kennedy School, made an interim report and presented it to the Future Forum of Preparedness, hosted by the Schmidt Futures, which is funded with the National Science Foundation research from our government. More than 60 researchers from 38 research institutions are participating in comparing the handling of the pandemic in the countries involved in the study. Now, Janisoff told the conference attendees that the comparative COVID response, the studies, the responses within the studies, led to a gateway of puzzling phenomena of divergences that emerged. And looking at how the countries responded, including the differences between how effectively countries were predicted to respond versus what really happened on the ground. In his keynote address, Tedros Adhanom, he's the Director General of the World Health Organization. As you know, the WHO welcomed the comparative studies, saying, "Your work is helping to unravel why compliance with public health and public health guidance was high in some places and low in others." Well, 4 House Republicans introduced articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. Cut to 2 years beforehand, when the Democrats are releasing articles of impeachment, 4 vague articles of impeachment against Donald John Trump, the 45th President of the United States. In the new articles of impeachment against President Biden on Tuesday, September 9th, or the first Tuesday in September, Representative Ohio Republican Bob Gibbons gave articles of impeachment citing 3 counts of Mr. Biden's botched retreat from Afghanistan, the southern border crisis, and his bid to extend a federal moratorium on evictions. Can you believe that, guys? The Republicans want to impeach Trump for trying to stop an evictions moratorium. I take this seriously. I don't think it's a haphazard. I'm not trying to get media attention for myself. Of course not, Mr. Gibson. He gave an interview in the Washington Examiner. But he says that Biden's done so much damage to the country in less than 9 months, which is really scary. I pose to you guys this. The response to our COVID pandemic crisis the waffling in help and aid to the American people and the needs thereof, the faltering and failing to protect us from threats foreign and domestic are all tied up into not just Joseph Elizabeth Biden, but two duopoly political parties that are owned, that are donated to, that are governed by a revolving private sector, public sector, cosmic course of corporatist interests and Republican representatives. The representative of Ohio, Mr. Gibbs, the Republican representative of Arizona, Mr. Biggs, and Brian Babin and Randy Weber of Texas all culminate a symptom of the problem, which is a much larger problem, but much more simplistically, including that Major Taylor Greene of Georgia introduced articles of impeachment, but even House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, California Republican, has not backed any, though he did vow a day of reckoning for Mr. Biden over Afghanistan. Of course, words, remarks. Both chambers of Congress in Democratic hands, the presidency in Democratic hands, and we have crisis after crisis continuing even after the Trump administration has far gone from the White House and the Rose Garden. Obviously, these impeachment articles will go nowhere thanks to Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker, and Majority Leader now, Chuck Schumer. But think about this, guys. What does a president need to do to be impeached from office? Why did the Founding Fathers write articles of impeachment? And what is this sort of procedure really for? Are we abusing the powers invested to us? Well, we're not. But we're letting two political parties do that for us. Abuse our civil liberties. Abuse articles of impeachment. Usurp the Constitution from the power of we the people. And curb our civil liberties. And even now, check our facts for us. What's next? I believe that if the Founding Fathers were alive today, they would say only a few words. Get my musket, Jefferson. That would be wonderful. Domination politics.
Some questions to ask. First, I want to say, welcome to Domination Politics. We're free-thinking, innovative, totally open-minded, progressive new media. Why do we need new media? Well, the Conglomeration Act of 1996, signed by Bill Clinton, enacted the corporatist public sector, private sector schmooze bouge fest. It's culminated in a mass media manufacturing consent for the 1% that own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. All hands on deck, guys. So for some reason, we're still divided because these two political parties want to divide us. They want to divide us if it's right or left. They want to do pro-life versus pro-choice. They want to do vaccinated versus unvaccinated. They want to divide any way they possibly can because that's the only way. The only way they can maintain power, guys. The only way two parties can maintain power is to divide the populace. We're united. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure the domestic tranquility, and the blessings of ourselves and our posterity. Just like the old days. Before 9/11. Seems like crisis after crisis has culminated in a trading of fear, a trading of liberties and freedoms for security. It used to be only that conservatives were talking about that, because they were only talking about one thing, guns. Now the left's starting to talk about it too. We're starting to see on either side of the spectrum, guys, it's not about us arguing, fighting for the common good as we were intended to. It's not about us debating or having political discourse. It's not about us coming to an agreement or out of many one, e pluribus unum. It's about money. It's about wealth. It's about glamour and success. It's about capitalism. It's about a free market that no longer exists. Banks and Wall Street that have been bailed out several times in the last decade. Meanwhile, cracking the heads of peaceful protesters in Wall Street. It's about Julian Assange in a British prison rotting away, perhaps being tortured as faux journalists like Rachel Maddow, Sean Hannity, all puppets of the rich. Not only thrive, but collect millions and millions of dollars at the expense of the tax-paying American citizen and the blue-collar working class. It's about the things, guys, that bind us all together. Right and left. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Are we going to maintain that? Are we going to ensure domestic tranquility? Or will we call our brothers and sisters insurrectionist, Kremlin puppet, Assad apologists, traitors, QAnon conspiracy theorists? At the same time, while the QAnons are believing in the Trump false god, we have Russian propaganda from the CIA and leftists, people that lean left, claim to be left, believing the FBI CIA conspiracies. Yes, guys, they are believing the enticing bait of the fox. The FBI, let's not forget, guys. How did the FBI come into power? Hoover. Why? Communists. The left. After the communists, the FBI has had a very successful campaign of trying to assassinate Fidel Castro, attempting Martin Luther King's suicide by blackmailing him in his affairs. Also, now, being complicit in sex crimes with the Larry Nassar Olympics gymnastics scandal. The FBI should have been dissolved a long time ago. Any real leftist in any presidency or power thereof would have dissolved the FBI. So I know we don't like purity tests, guys, and I'm not about that, but I want to pose to you one simple premise. If there was a real leftist ever president since FDR, why is the FBI existing? Why does the FBI still exist if there was a leftist president? Because we don't have a left anymore. We don't have one. And that's why some of us leftists have forgotten who we are. Care so much. It takes a lot out of us. We care for so much and there's nothing we can do about it. Let's not forget, guys. Before there was a left or a right, before there was an eagle with two wings, there was a rebellion. And there was one people working for a common good. So what we need to do, and I'm about to tell you some solutions, guys. We need to find common ground, fight the propaganda and the mass media, which is why we have combination politics. We think we're innovative and open-minded. We also need to hit back. Not the way the Young Turks are hitting back. I saw the Young Turks today. They're so surprised. Biden right now is talking about intensified talks with Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin because they're so magical. Are Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin so magical? Or are they the only ones who don't fold and don't bluff? I saw AOC crying about the Iron Dome funds. Where was her vote? Her vote was yes. Her vote was yes. Squad's vote was yes. AOC famously did a grandstand on the House floor when this is the biggest transfer of wealth since the Gilded Age, as she voted for the CARES Act. Nancy Pelosi's upward transfer of wealth that caused 8 million people to slip into poverty. What I'm trying to say, guys, is I'm not trying to be downer. I'm not trying to be dark. I'm not trying to be chaotic. But I am trying to say there's only one way out of this. Only one way out of this, guys. It's a blueprint that our founding fathers gave us already. It's like I'm gonna give you a little field trip back to the magic school bus where we go inside the human body and find those red blood cells and those white blood cells. And those red blood cells and those white blood cells are working together for the common good, aren't they? But what are we doing? We're accepting the conventional wisdom and the social norms, guys. We're accepting things as they are. And we're not using any energy to change it that matters. We try to protest. We cracked the heads of peaceful protesters at Wall Street. They looted and beat the Standing Rock protesters. I know many Assange protesters. Anthony Z. Smith, bro, my buddy, my nigga. Yo, did you get any love from the cops, the CIA, the FBI? Do you get any love from the people, the American people, who have taken part in the blessings and abundance of this domestic tranquility, this freedom and liberty, this Constitution, guys, that's being trampled over hella ever since 2001, the Patriot Act, by these political parties. Now journalism is a crime. Now truth is a crime. Questioning anything is a crime. Is this the left? This is not the left. Meanwhile, guys, they're smearing the left. They're calling these Democrats left. Don't you realize what that is? That's not only propaganda. That is a smear. To call the Democratic Party the left. The Democratic Party has never been left-wing. They've never cared about a handown. They've never cared about any middle-class worker. They literally took part in the genocide of the American Indians and the indigenous people, and the slavery of my people. Dixiecrat, Democrat, especially Dixiecrat, has never been left-wing. They are imposters. And they are arrogant imposters. They're arrogant because they don't see how we can stop them. We keep voting for Democrats and Republicans. How can we possibly stop them? How can we snap out of this and reclaim our birthright, our citizenship of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness? How can we reclaim our title of the left wing of the eagle that flies? The first democratic republic ever to be known on the face of this earth, guys. Before us, there was only monarchy. There was only kings. There was only tyranny. There was only one man to rule all. There was only nobles and elites. And where have we come back? Where have we circled back? In the 267 years we have been a country, we have circled back to serfdom, monarchy, nobles, and the King's Road. I say to you guys, give me liberty or give me death. This debt ceiling, this government shutdown, is another distraction, but it is a distraction of very good importance, guys, very educational importance. These two parties are reckless spending, incompetent, completely corrupt pieces of shit. They have to raise the debt ceiling every year or a government shutdown because they refuse to pay on our debts. If a normal person refused to pay on their debts, their credit would be forfeit, and they couldn't even buy a sandwich at Albertsons. But these two parties raise the debt ceiling every goddamn year at the last minute. Aren't you tired of this drama? Aren't you tired of this fake-ass, bullshit, non-left-wing agenda? I hope so. Because if not, you're dopes.
Republicans and Democrats and dopes. Partisan dopes. Y'all dopes. Republican and Democratic Party, they're fake as fuck. They check you off like boxes. Blacks and gays, they don't give a shit about you. And they want to maintain power. We're all stars now in the dope show. We're all stars now in the dope show. Lots of pretty ones. They're gonna have to lie. all the pretty ones. They're crony capitalistic minds. We're all stars now. In the dope show, we're all stars now. In the dope show, we sell you all of our shit and boxes. We don't have any product or value. We sell you all our shit and our boxes. We don't have any fucking value. Of them, they're politicians shallow. We love. They don't have any principles or values. Red and blue. You have to swim in the swamp down. Biden today, business tomorrow. We're all stars now. And all the pretty ones will tell you they're pro-life and conservative and fine. They are liars. Politicians, they are liars. The politicians, they sell you out in your principles and values. They sell out and they absorb your labor. They sell out all your kids and your families. Outsource all of your jobs. You suckers, we're all stars now. In the stupid dope show, baby. Why don't you hi-ho? And all the pretty lies are enabling destruction times. We're all stars now. In the stupid dope show. Midterms, we're all stars now. How stupid can you be, you stupid people?
U.S. Constitution and Declaration of Independence now have harmful language. Raging political correctness lunacy does not spare U.S. Constitution, Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights. U.S. National Archives tags Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution with language warning labels historical documents now deemed to consist of potentially harmful content. The archivists are told to inform users about the presence and origin of such harmful content. Harmful language alert tags appeared on the U.S. National Archives website pages displaying the scanned versions of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Harmful language warning labels also appear on the pages with the text of the first 10 amendments, known as the Bill of Rights. First thought of by the visitors to the National Archives website as a prank or the result of a hacker attack, it however was no joke at all. The link on the Lab L leads to the National Archives and Records Administration (NARA) statement on potentially harmful content, defined as reflecting racist, sexist, ableist, misogynistic, misogynoir, and xenophobic.
Juniper Smoke, what's up? Sorry, I was in my zone. AutoZone. Thank you for listening and watching Domination Politics. We're free thinking, innovative, progressive media. Try to tell the truth. Try to tell the facts as they are. And I do have opinions, of course, like anybody. But you can clearly tell what's my opinion and what's fact. Hopefully. If you don't, if you have questions, let me know. But I'm not leaving you hanging. I have a whole, I was raised Methodist. So in Methodist church, you have a whole bulletin. You know exactly what's going on in the fucking the service. The benedictions last. The offertories in the middle, where we get to have a snack, some wine and some crackers. In the beginning, we have hymns. So that's how I do things. Very structured like that, because I'm still a Methodist at heart, even though I'm a black, gay, progressive, agnostic. But what's up with you? I hope you're understanding everything okay. I hope I'm not rambling. I'm speaking clearly to you, because it's all hands on deck right now, like for real. So YouTube's just literally started. They nuked many channels. I'm so happy that I did not talk about the vaccine. Yes, I'm a coward when it comes to that. I learned with the QAnons. I was trying to figure out, because I had friends that are conservatives, and I wanted to know what they were thinking. So I investigated this QAnon thing. I just mentioned QAnon on my YouTube channel. Strike. Just mentioned it. That's it. So this totalitarian, authoritarian thing is not left wing. It's not left wing in the slightest, guys. It's not even National Socialist Party, Hitler left wing. Like there was at least there was a curvature of like hardcore propaganda against Jews. Here, like the technocrats of Silicon Valley censored the New York Post, the Hunter Biden laptop story, and from there on out, they've been fact checking, establishing the truth, and enabling the Joe Biden's incompetent administration to no end. So I don't know how that was not a slippery slope. That was literally just a ledge. That's what I think. I'm talking to you, Juniper Smoke. Are you talking to me? I'm talking to my audience. That's what I'm talking to. Because people are going to be watching this later. And what they need to know is that out of many, one. Also, what they need to know is we have a constitution. Constitution that the preamble of the Constitution, of course, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, promote the general welfare, ensure the blessings of ourselves and our tranquility and our posterity. Under what circumstances may the government use lethal or non-lethal force against, protesters, rioters, or looting? It's in there. They can't. Can they use force to exercise state and federal armed forces to constrain people or mandate people? They can't. It's the Constitution. The principle of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the principle of free speech is it's an inalienable right given to us by our Creator. So no man can take that away. They're uninfringed. You cannot be infringed. Yes, I'm not a recording. I'm real. Sometimes I record things, but I'm real right now. I'm giving you my sermon. This is the sermon part of the Methodist bulletin. So Juniper Smoke, I am real. I'm talking to you live. Do you have any questions? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? How can we work together for the common good? Oh my God, I'm swamping you. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll give you a sec to respond. Hey, we got a free thinker here. Hey, make sure you subscribe and like. It's my jam too. Free speech, like Tipcast. I played his little podcast about the vaccines and YouTube censoring people, and he made a really good point. And I don't really agree with everything Tipcast says, of course, but he made a really good point about how would you know if anybody's racist or homophobic unless their speech? Like that's the whole reason free speech exists. The only thing that can curb bad speech is more speech. We can have what is it? Oh, Dave Rubin says a market of ideas. A market of ideas. It's goofy as fuck, but it's true. It's what it's supposed to be anyway. It's not a market of ideas though. It's more like a public sector, private sector clusterfuck of ignorance and a dementia-riddled old man playing to his base, which it's not liberals. That is not Joe Biden's base. Let me just tell you guys. Joe Biden's base is not liberals. It's Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Bloomberg. So every time I say that, Juniper Smoke, People think that I'm rambling. I don't make sense. They don't understand my politics. What's not to understand? These two parties are shilling us out. I don't understand what there is to not understand about that. Can somebody please help me with that? Why do the white liberals think that that's hard to understand? Sleepy Joe, I like that shit. Juniper Smoke, do you have an answer for that? Can you please help me out here? Why do they think it's hard to understand that these two parties are shilling us? Would it be hard to understand if their wife was cheating on them? I like you already, bro. You're like one step away from getting on this show. Pip Headstrong, bro. Reminds me of Chappelle. But it would be funnier though, but it's us. We're literally getting fucking smacked in the face. That's what the problem is though. So what do we do about that? And then the Constitution is now harmful. It's now harmful text. It's harmful. The thing that gives us our freedom and inalienable rights. All men are created equal. The thing that gives us amendments, that gives us life, liberty, and happiness is harmful. And these fact checkers are good. It's like the world is upside down, bro. How do I wake up from this nightmare? Joe Biden has literally turned the entire left wing into a nightmare. Those of us that are left, I mean, we don't know what to do, bro. Because, like, we got these fucking liberals attacking us, calling us Trump enablists. And then they're not even doing anything left wing. Vaccine mandates are not left wing. Punching down is not left wing. There's nothing the Democratic Party does that's left wing. Laughing at overflow facilities, not left wing. Kamala. These guys are not. But they're walking around talking how left they are. Like, they're not. Is that hard to understand, Juniper Smoke? But I think most of the country knows that they're not left wing. I think the right wing just uses this as it's like a leverage, because they know that these Democrats are not left wing, but they're having fun at the fact that we're so fucking outnumbered, us leftists in this country, that they're just calling them the left, just to, like, you know, obliterate us completely and mock us. But yeah. The thing is, though, right wing, is that, like, we're supposed to fly together, and you mocking us and fucking enabling this Democratic right wing party, like, that's not helping you. They're literally gonna fucking make you take a shot in your arm, Nick, and soon. You won't even be able to buy a sandwich at Albertsons without that vaccine mandate, if they have their way, because they're not left wing. So you might think it's fun right now that Joe Biden's a dementia riddled old man calling himself the left. But sooner or later, you're not going to be able to fucking do anything without his blessing. It's not left wing. So you guys better realize real fast that the left is not the enemy. The right is not the enemy. The enemy is the Democrats and Republicans. That is the enemy. That is those are the people trying to extradite Julian Assange, a person who led us in to the wanderings and goings on of an illegal war that we were lied into by George W. Bush. He let us know the truth. What if WikiLeaks never existed? What if we never knew that they did a double tap on workers, emergency responders that were trying to help the sick and the people that we bombed? We literally did a double tap. That's what what's his name? Her name. You remember Chelsea Manning gave us the video of that. We went back, we bombed a hospital. The hospital people, the Red Cross came. We came back and double tapped. We bombed the Red Cross and the hospital workers. That was classified, because we weren't supposed to see that. We were only supposed to see red, white, blue, rah, rah, rah. We're the greatest. That's what we're supposed to see. We're supposed to see that. So, of course, Chelsea Manning was tortured. Julian Assange is now rotting in a British prison because he showed us the truth about the intentions and what do you call them? The motives of why we're at war. It's not because of freedom. It's not because of liberty. It's not because of defense. They should not call it the Department of Defense. They should call it the Department of Offense. It's not because of the department. It's not because of defense. We did. Who bombed them? It was the Air Force. The Air Force and it was in Afghanistan hospital. But check it out. Check my facts, okay? I don't want to lie to you. Look up Chelsea Manning and the WikiLeaks, and you'll get the full story, okay? Because I'm not really sure. I should know that. I'm not really sure. I want to make sure that you know the truth. Because the truth is very hard to come by. I don't want to lie. So, not even accidentally. These Democrats and these Republicans, they lie way too much. Too much for the rest of us. Okay? None of us can lie. They lie all the time. So, but it's really important. You should check that out. That really got on their nerves. And then Edward Snowden. It's another one that got on their nerves when he told everybody that Barack Obama and the FISA courts, which are not like any kind of real courts, were like approving the surveillance of our metadata, putting it in undisclosed locations. And Edward Snowden worked for the CIA. He was doing all kinds of nefarious shit for the CIA. He literally was grossed out and icked out by the shit that they were doing. Think about that. When a CIA agent who is doing nefarious shit is grossed out by the shit you're doing. What are we doing here? Is it life, liberty, happiness? I don't think so. So we should all be really alarmed. You don't know, Juniper Smoke? You don't know about the Snowden? Yeah, that's how we all got to know Glenn Greenwald. He's on Jimmy Dore right now. I'm gonna watch him after this. Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore, bro. So he found Glenn Greenwald interviewed from The Intercept. He founded The Intercept, and he broke the story of Edward Snowden. And then Jimmy Dore told the truth about war, and he told the truth about Hillary Clinton at the Young Turks. And he got kicked out of the Young Turks. They smeared him for sexual harassment. So they're both huge free thinkers, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to tell the truth. So I definitely admire them. So check that out, guys. Everybody's gonna watch later. Check them out too. Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, check them out. Because I am. They're historic, guys. There's very little patriots. There's only two kinds of people in this country. There's patriots and there's loyalists since the beginning. The patriots are the Sons of Liberty. They said no taxation without representation. Give me liberty or give me death. Yeah. They came up with the Federalist Papers. The Loyalists housed and fed British armies to continue the monarchical tyranny of King George III. And they paid. They paid very hard. Which I hope to God that we can repeat that. I hope to God every loyalist who is enabling the Democrats and Republicans at this moment and their tyranny and their division with the American people of the right and the left. They have completely split in half the bird that was supposed to fly together. The two wings that were supposed to fly together. That is, to me, that's treason. And FBI, that's even more specific treason. I'm not going to go into that. It's past the hour. So I suggest you subscribe to Juniper Smoke because we got a lot to talk about. But don't worry. We'll talk more. And I hope to talk to you a lot. But while I'm gone, check out Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, and also check out Chelsea Manning, WikiLeaks. You got to get up to speed. Our government's lying to us. They've been lying to us from the beginning. And I'm not really that surprised. And don't be surprised any more times Joe Biden does something completely incompetent, like the 5-year-old across the street could have done it better. Because he's literally paid to do that through campaign finance contributions because of Citizens United.